Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. How are we doing on this Friday, guys? Good morning.
Doing a lot better than Skip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Somebody.
No,
lost
case.
LeBron
didn't play. LeBron didn't play.
Somebody made the bet and them's the break.
No, Skip, come on now. LeBron didn't even play. Come on, bro. You can't. I know you can't take that in good conscience.
You know what? Just because I do love you, and just because I'm in a benevolent mood today, I hereby rescind the bet.
That's nice.
Just because LeBron didn't play, but if he had played, the outcome would have been the same. You know it, and I know it, because he's an older GOAT. We'll
run it back against Charlotte tonight if you want to.
Oh, run it back? Okay.
You want Charlotte tonight?
Well, does that mean LeBron's actually going to run tonight? Because I think he just load managed last night to get ready for the GOATs team tonight in Charlotte,
but
right?
You know what he does to the GOATs team?
Well, that's because the GOAT doesn't play for the GOATs team.
Let's see if he's in the mix. That's a very fair argument. Both of you guys looking sharp with the neck.
Yeah, you know that. You see that? I figured I'd come out here.
Somebody wears his every Friday, but I don't know.
I got my Skip Bayless starter kit on.
Oh, somebody is egomaniacal because somebody's wearing his numbers in a gigantic Flavor Flav kind of a chain.
You got on Skip. You got on Skip.
I got to get a clock, right?
Now, you hating out here today. I don't know what you got to do today.
I need my necklace from Wayne today. Okay, either way, we're moving on because we have some incredible matchups this weekend, and we're going to begin here. The NFC West rivals are set to clash for a third time this season as Kyle Shanahan and his 49ers take on Matthew Stafford, Odell Beckham Jr., and the Rams. Shanahan has owned Sean McVay as his team has won the last 6 meetings, but none is bigger than this one, Sunday, right here on Fox. So, Shannon, games like this, it's why the Rams brought players like OBJ, Stafford to L.A. So can they put an end to San Francisco's winning streak over the Rams? Can it happen?
I do. I believe they will this weekend, Skip. I'm going to take Matthew Stafford over Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo has done okay. They've got to make him a participant in the class project. Over the last couple of games, Skip, you know, he's gotten credit, but he hadn't did a whole lot of participating. Last week, Skip, now you do realize he only got him 6 points. The block punt got him to 7 points. The offense didn't score a touchdown. So with that being said, I love the way Stafford played. He showed you something. What he showed you last week was why they mortgaged their future, why they gave up the 2 first-rounders, why they gave up Jared Goff, and says, if we have this guy, he gives us an opportunity to go to the next level. He gives us,
even though Jared Goff did get you to a Super Bowl. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think Sean McVay said had we had Matthew Stafford in that situation, we would have won, because that was one of probably New England's worst offensive performances in that game. Tom Brady was not particularly sharp. They did run the ball okay, but that was an opportunity. He had a terrible interception. He was late, had a guy wide open for a touchdown. I think it was he was late for a touchdown and let the DB get over the top of him. So with that being said, Skip, I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take the Rams at home.
You sure that wasn't like a Freudian slip there?
For the second year in a row. Think about how long all the Super Bowls and how long we had to wait before we got a home team in their actual building playing in the Super Bowl, and you're about to have it in back-to-back years. Tampa last year, the Rams this year. I like Cooper Kupp. Now, the 49ers did an unbelievable job last year of neutralizing Devontae Adams. After that first drive, they basically rendered him useless. Yeah, he had 9 catches, but none of those catches after that first drive impact the game. Now, Odell, this is why you bring in Odell. See, y'all gonna focus on taking Cooper Kupp away? Now you got to work one-on-one. Now, you do realize the San Francisco 49ers defense have been flagged for the most pass interferences. The guy that's refereeing this game, his crew, they throw the most flags. So that tells me, Skip, that the game, there are going to be a lot of drives kept alive by pass interference on either side. And so I went with a high-scoring game, Skip. I think the final score is going to be 31-27. I'm going to take the Rams.
Are you really?
Yes.
Yet, Shannon Sharpe, number 84, as we all see, because it's like knocking our eyes out.
Man, you a hater.
I'm getting blinged right between. I can't even see across the table because the diamonds are just blinding me.
I'm wearing the cross next week, Dan.
Okay. Shannon Sharpe, in his professional career, watched a young man grow up literally under his nose in the Denver Broncos locker room. Young Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
A chip off the old block of his father, who was your head coach, named Mike Shanahan, who has offensive genius about him. And I think the son inherited a little or a lot of that offensive genius.
A lot of it.
Right?
Yes.
And it's highly possible that father is still contributing to son's game plans, right? Okay.
Yes.
So coaching matchup, I believe in Shannon Sharpe's heart of hearts that you would go Kyle Shanahan, right?
Yes.
Over Coach McYay, because he does a lot of clapping and butt slapping. And we once upon a time, not that long ago, September 26th, we saw Coach McYay, if we could see this, he ran all the way down the sidelines and up the tunnel chasing Deshaun Jackson, no longer a Ram, because he had caught a 75-yard touchdown pass against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Big win for the Rams, and there goes Coach McYay. He's running. This is Harry high school stuff, and this is the guy who has lost all these games in a row. We're up to six games in a row now to Kyle Shanahan's 49ers. 6 in a row. Okay, so I'm going to boil this down to 2 laws. We got 2 laws operating here. Okay. We got laws of average, the law of average, which is 6 straight times you're just bound to win one, right? Yeah. You're a good team, they're a good team, but after 6 straight, you're going to break through just on law of average, right?
Yes.
Then there's this other law that I like to call the law of the jungle. And there's a lion and then there's prey.
Yes.
And in the end, I believe that the 49ers know in their heart of hearts they are the lions. Okay. And that the Rams are the prey, as in not we're going to devour you kind of prey, but there are cheetahs and there are panthers, and they look the part, man. They are athletic, they are fast, they are sleek, they are cool. But the cheetah and the panther know if it ever comes down to a one-on-one, man-to-man confrontation, or for that matter, woman-to-woman confrontation in that case, in the jungle, who's going to prevail? Well, the lion's going to prevail. I believe the 49ers just know they have the number of the Rams because they know they are the mentally tougher football team. And it probably starts with Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan, but then it filters down to one Debo. And Debo is going to be the toughest player on the field on either team. And again, I respect Aaron Donald and Von Miller and you name them. Yeah. You got all the Hollywood star power on the other side. I respect Odell's talent because he's got that cheetah panther kind of talent that's just spectacular. But in the bitter end, I believe I'm going with the Debo factor because I don't know if I've ever seen anything like Debo.
He definitely has a defensive mentality on the offensive side of the football. He does.
And when in doubt, they just toss it to him or hand it to him and say, you do it. Right. If it's 3rd and long at Green Bay, 3rd and 11, or it's 3rd and 7, I'm sorry, you just give it to Debo
hand him the ball and he go gets the first down.
He goes and gets you 9 yards, and that's the football game.
Hold on. But doesn't that concern you? I remember in a situation earlier this year when the New England Patriots was doing the exact same thing. It was 3rd and long, it was 3rd and this, and they was handing the ball off, and you said it was because they did not trust one Mac Jones. So on a 3rd and 7, if you're handing the ball to Debo, if you're tossing the ball to Debo, do you not trust Jimmy G?
Interesting you bring that up. Okay. I've called him Jimmy Gag.
You have.
He has a long and bloody history of gagging.
Yes, he does.
Late moments in big games, such as a Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, in which they were up 20-10 early in the 4th quarter.
Right.
And Jimmy G went Jimmy Gag. And he was horrendous in that 4th quarter, did throw a pick and did miss Emmanuel Sanders, now a Buffalo Bill, but missed him late and deep on what could have just changed the world at that point, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I look at these 6 straight wins. Jimmy G has played in 5 of the 6. Would you believe that Nick Mullins, just in 2020, he beat the Rams on a Monday night game on November 29th. He beat them 23-20. Nick Mullins beat the Rams? That's interesting. So let's look at Jimmy G's 5 games, 5-0 in his last 5 starts against said Rams. So will he feel pretty comfortable at SoFi? I think he will because he's been there and done that.
Well, he just came back 3 weeks ago from 17-0.
17-0 down. So I look at his numbers against the Rams, that hellacious Rams defense with all that firepower and star power. He's completed 101 of 144 throws. That's 70%. That's
That's pretty good.
Pretty great, right? Yes. He's averaged 251 yards passing a game for his 5 starts. By his standards, that's pretty great. 7 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Not that great.
That's not great at all.
But still, he has thrown 7 touchdown passes, but the key number is 5 because he's 5 and 0.
That's the key number.
Has he gotten a lot of help? Well, sure, I'll give you that. But I look at his QBRs. We love QBR, at least I do. He's averaged a QBR of 68 against the Rams. That's well above average. That's up there.
That would have led the NFL.
That would have led the NFL this year.
It would have.
He has a high of 97 in the Monday night game on November 15th of this year at SoFi.
Yeah,
97, and that was 31-10 visiting team San Francisco.
Right.
So I'm going to say that Jimmy G feels at least as comfortable against the Rams as he does against anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
So you've got that going for you. And in those 6 straight wins, the 49ers have averaged 124 yards rushing.
Well, therein lies the problem. Because here's the thing. When you look at the Rams defense and you look how they're predicated, they're built on getting to your quarterback.
Yep.
Well, in order to get to the quarterback, you got to pick a side and go.
Yep.
Well, when you play the San Francisco 49ers, if you pick a side and go, what you're going to do is you're going to create space. You're going to open up gaps. So you have to be careful. So now what do we do? Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator, how are you going to play this? Because are you going to say, Aaron, really, bro, we need you to play straight down the middle and take on some of these runs. Vaughn, I need you to be more down the middle.
This is a good question.
Leonard Floyd, I need you more down the middle. If you're more down the middle, guess what? Now you're a step or two slow getting to the quarterback.
Okay.
So that's the dilemma that they're up against, and that's what happens when you play a 49ers. We love to play teams. When I was with Mike, we love to play a team that wanted to get up your quarterback.
Okay.
Because you made my job a lot easier. Because I knew you were going to pick a side. I just pushed you out the way and TD hit a crease.
Okay. So, is that what he's going to ask? You got to play the run first? I think he has to. So, I think that buys Jimmy G just a second or two more of time that could be crucial in this game. Because I got to tell you, down the stretch at Green Bay, I know it was 0 degrees, but he made 2 or 3 throws where I said, that works. Right. But they were wide open throws.
Right.
Kittle got wide open. Because Kittle was getting wide open on every play. I thought they could have gone to him a lot more than they did, but it was just too cold to even try to throw it. And Debo got open for a couple of big catches. And Ayuk he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
all their guys are great at run after the catch.
Don't tell me they don't have 3 catch weapons that are serious business.
All really very good run after catch.
Okay, and it doesn't really matter who's running the ball. I don't care who it is. It can be anybody.
Yeah.
It can be somebody I've never heard of, and they'll get 4 or 5 yards every carry, right?
Yes.
Okay, now back to your Rams. There's a lot of Hollywood going on here. There's a lot of star power. There's maybe a little more, to me, sizzle than there is steak. I have always said that Matt Stafford can spin the football as well as anybody in the game.
We saw it last week.
Bruce Arians has said there's one guy I go out to watch warm up. I'll go out a little early just to watch him throw the football.
Right.
Because he's got a big arm, and he was Mahomes before Mahomes.
He was.
Because he was throwing sidearm and no looks and whatnot.
You don't get no credit because you played in Detroit. You lose it. You can't get no credit.
Okay, so what do I say about Matt Stafford? I told you from day one this year, I just don't completely buy into him in the biggest of games. So he caught Arizona reeling, plummeting, and did a number on them. And then he caught Tampa a little off guard in the first half, and he did a number on them.
Yeah, did
and
a number
then
on
the
Brady.
Second half came. And
did a number on him.
Guess what happened in the second half?
He threw 2 big passes to get them down the field goal range, and they won?
Up to that moment, those 2 late moments to Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford had a grand total of 73 yards passing in the second half. The Rams were starting to unravel right on schedule.
But it had nothing to do with him.
Rams.
It had nothing to do with him, Skip. Cooper Kupp fumble, Cam Akers fumble, and the center snapped the ball 30 yards over his head. That had nothing to do with Matt Stafford.
The Rams allowed 24 straight unanswered points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the second half.
Linebacker. Matthew Stafford don't play linebacker.
All right, so I give you this. When push came to shove, and both plays featured Sean Murphy Bunting, he literally got faked off his feet on a 20-yarder to Cooper Kupp that got them out of, so to speak, jail.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, when I least expected it, on 3rd and long, Todd Bowles brought the house. And I love Todd Bowles, and I don't mind bringing the house if you can, in fact, get to the house. You got to get home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you do.
And Sean Murphy Bunting, I still don't understand it. He is unblocked coming out of a slot blitz, and he just pulls up, and I don't know what possessed him. I have no idea, but he pulled up. And Matt Stafford had the extra second to get rid of the football, and he just threw it straight up to the one receiver who was running a decoy route on this play. And I give you all the credit in the world. He threw him up, basically what was a run and get it ball. You just heave it down the middle because while I don't trust the quarterback with all his heart and soul trusts that receiver because that receiver is really, really good.
He had a historic season.
So could Cooper Kupp be the difference in this game? He could be. Yeah. Because he is uncoverable at this point.
And you look at the games, he's had big games against both times this year, Skip.
Well, who hasn't he had a big game against? He had 183 yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when I least expected it, but he got 64 of them, 20 plus 44, on those last two throws that literally stole the game out from under the GOAT, Thomas Edward Brady.
Skip, you like Jimmy G, but here's the thing. Check Jimmy G's 5 career playoff starts. He's averaging 146 yards a game. He's thrown 2 touchdowns with 5 interceptions, and he had a QBR last week of 12. You like that? You love QBR, but do you like 12? That's Tom Brady's number.
Who's the opponent? The Rams. It's the Rams. I just gave you the numbers against the Rams. That's all I care about right now.
They realize, Skip, all we got to do is take care of business. Okay. And we don't have to leave the state of California again.
Really? Well, they don't have to leave home again.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So back to Matthew Stafford. This is the guy I saw down the stretch. Once they added Sis Boom Ba Odell Beckham Jr. It's Hollywood. Hooray for Hollywood. Odell comes back home to Hollywood where he's got a Beverly Hills mansion that he lives in. And here we went. And there went Matthew Stafford. His QBR before Odell, 9 games, was 69. It's the top of the list. Yep. And then all of a sudden, Odell comes, and it plummets down to 54. That's a big drop over the last 8 games. Yeah. And in those 8 games, Matt Stafford threw 18 touchdowns, but he threw 11 picks, which led the NFL over the last 8 games of the season. 11 picks? For the year, Matt Stafford threw 4 pick sixes. 4 pick sixes in 1 year. Are you kidding me? Is he not capable of pick sixing when you least expect it? He is highly capable. And by the way, over the last 4 games of the regular season, he was 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions?
Well, a lot of those was forced throws to not just Odell, but to a lot of other guys. I think he started to press. I thought he started to feel the pressure. The Cardinals, the Cardinals, the 49ers. There are a lot of things that was going on that he started to, but I love the way he composed himself. Skip, here's the thing. I don't know if you remember this, Skip. You remember in 2012 when the Baltimore Ravens hit that Hail Mary, the Broncos got the ball back with 32 seconds and 2 timeouts on the 25, and they took a knee. Sean McVay said, hey, Matthew Stafford, we're tied up on the 25-yard line. Go get us in field goal range. That shows he has the utmost confidence in that young man. That shows that young man has the ultimate confidence in himself, and he went and got it done.
Not that young anymore.
Compared to
I think McVay is younger than Matt Stafford. He seems like it.
He might be skilled. But it just goes to show you the confidence level. Think about that now. That's Peyton Manning, who was a 4-time Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, and they took a knee. Matthew Stafford doesn't have any credentials that Peyton Manning has, and Sean McVay says, go get the job done.
I think Sean McVay has confidence in Sean McVay. That's what that was about.
Well, you got to throw the, because here's the thing, Skip. We saw Jimmy G had the exact same throw to Cooper Kupp. He had that throw to Emmanuel Sanders. And what did he do? He threw it in the first row.
It wasn't exactly the same because it wasn't a complete blown coverage. That was where all of a sudden Antoine Winfield Jr.'s like, it's zero.
He's flat-footed, zero. He thought the ball's coming out quick.
And he's just like, he's coming forward like, are you going to, like he's almost ready to jump the route, and all of a sudden Cooper Kupp doesn't stop. He just runs right by him. Okay, I got it. So it was a much easier throw that Stafford made than Jimmy G made.
But if Jimmy G, his starting quarterback in the NFL, you got to make that throw.
I got it. I agree. Back to your man Odell. Okay, so for the last 8 games, Odell averaged catching 3.4 balls a game for a grand total of 38 yards a game. But to his credit, to your credit, against Arizona, all of a sudden he caught 54 yards worth of passes and a touchdown. Got the little fade route touchdown. And then at Tampa, he caught 6 balls for 69. So we're going a little up. We went from 38 average to 54 to 69. So he's on the rise. Except that at Tampa, when it became push come to shove time in that fourth quarter, Odell just went quiet. He disappeared. He got no targets for no catches.
But here's the thing. He had 4 targets. I think he had 5 targets in the first half. He caught 4 passes. He had 2. I think he had 2, maybe 2 targets, 4 targets, and he caught 2. But the 3 turnovers in the second half. Cooper Kupp fumbled the ball coming right out the gate. Cam Akers fumbled the ball late in the ball game. And they snapped the ball over Matthew Stafford's head. So now you're taking opportunities away, but Odell could potentially have caught more gotten more opportunity to catch a pass. I like the way he's positioning himself. He, like you say, they're bringing that thing to a boil.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the thing, it started out at 100. Yeah. It went to 150. Now, about to get to 212.
Really?
It's about to be show enough boiling.
Really?
Yes.
Are those the yards catching he's going to have? He's going to have 212 yards catching?
That thing about to be boiling.
Uh-oh.
He's going to have more than he had last week.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to be on the winning side.
Okay, so he had, what did I say, 69? 69 last week. So what do we got, 80-ish?
More than that.
Really?
More than 60. More than 69.
Could we go triple digits for Odell against the 49ers?
Might have to.
Wow.
Because they decided to take Kupp away.
We're going to talk about Odell in and of himself a little later, but he's just been gushing all week. I'm happy. Happy. He was doing his thing in the locker room. We saw him.
Yeah, everybody was dancing.
2 Chainz and Drake.
Yeah.
That was serious business because Odell he's found a revival in Los Angeles. Right here, right now, I'm here to tell you that this Hollywood ending will not be a happy one.
Okay.
I believe that I don't trust Matt Stafford or Odell Beckham Jr. on the biggest stage against that team.
But you trust Jimmy G?
I'm going to trust Jimmy G to make just enough throws.
Okay.
I'm going to trust Kyle Shanahan, the run game, and I think an underrated 49er defense that, boy, they did a number on Aaron Rodgers, didn't they?
Yeah.
10 points?
Well, I mean, wow. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, he only had one guy. But here's the thing, Skip. The Rams defense, run defense, they're 16 yards, 50 yards per carry. You got to make Jimmy G participate.
Okay. Let's do it.
He's gotten a lot of credit. And Brett Script, you know, when you're the winning quarterback, you're going to get credit. Yep. But I want to make him a participant. I need him to throw for 300 yards. I'm not going to let them run for 120, 150 and have Jimmy G barely participate. Basically, he just puts the paper on the teacher's desk, and that was his participation in the project.
Really? You know what? I think Jimmy G has been the driving force of the project. For 5 games. 5 games. Averaging 251 yards passing. You couldn't do it without that. So I'm trusting Jimmy G over Matt S. That's what I'm doing. I'm going Jimmy G. I'm going much lower scoring than you. I think this is going to be a physical knockdown, drag out. Run games will prevail. 49ers over Rams because the Rams will try to run it too, and they've been running it at a high level.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going 23-20 Kyle over Coach McYay. How about that?
It's going to be a close ball. It's tough, but I just think the Rams being at home, I think Matthew Stafford makes just enough plays. Yeah. Because, Skip, here's the thing. I think a lot of drives will be kept alive because of Carl Cheffers. His crew has called the most penalties. There's a reason why. Think about it. In one game, in the NFC game, the referee that called the most penalties, and on the AFC side, the official that called the fewest penalties. So that game in the AFC gonna get a bunch of numbers.
Sounds like somebody's a little desperate across from me because you're groveling for bogus flags, bogus pass eyes, right?
No. Here's the thing, Skip. The 49ers commit the most PIs because I believe their secondary is the weak part. So the problem is, can you get into the secondary? Because that front seven, Fred Warner will blitz. But, you know, with Bosa and Armstead, they got guys that can go get home with just 4, and they don't really have to sacrifice, but they will. D'Amico Ryan, who's done a great job. I don't know how many interviews he's got. By the looks of things, he hasn't got many. He's done a great job, especially the last 3 weeks of the season, Skip, for them to go down 17, win that game, because they had to win the game just to get into the playoffs. And they down 17. They had every reason to just pack it up. And to go to Lambeau and do that number that they did on Aaron Rodgers.
Huge.
They have confidence. But I just believe that Matthew Stafford, that he'll make enough plays, and this is why you got Von Miller. This is why you traded second round and third round pick to go get Von Miller. Von Miller, big game hunter.
Okay. I got the 49ers for a case. You're going to give me what, 3.5?
No.
Why not?
No, you don't get no points in the playoffs.
3.5.
No, this is the AFC Championship game. Championship game.
Really?
And like you said, they beat them 6 times with the law of averages.
Yeah.
Skip, coming into the season, Coach Saban had never ever lost to a former assistant. And this year, what happened?
Well, there you go.
Twice.
Okay, so give me 3.5.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
You've got Odell Beckham Jr.
Man, stop it.
Yeah, you do.
I got him.
Okay.
And guess what? Go have him in the Super Bowl, too.
Just
3.5
on that,
Nope.
Shannon.
No mercy.
Mike McCarthy has reportedly been assured that he'll be back as head coach in Dallas next season, despite rumors the Cowboys could be in the market to upgrade. One possibility is Dan Quinn, who will be back on the sidelines as defensive coordinator after he didn't get any of the open head coaching gigs. And another possibility is Sean Payton, who said 2 teams have reached out to him since he announced he was leaving the Saints. So, Shannon, what's going on in Dallas? Explain.
Jerry's happy with Mike McCarthy, much to the chagrin of Skip Bayless and a lot of the former players and a lot of the fans.
You really believe he's happy with him? Happy?
Yes. Jerry Jones is worth $9 billion. He could change the situation in the blink of an eye. All he got to do is pick up the phone and say, Mike McCarthy, you've been relieved of your duty. Sean Payton, you're the new head coach. Skip, my thing is that, like I said before, much to your chagrin, a lot of the former players that played with the Cowboys and the Cowboy fans, they're disappointed. But the frustration that they voiced after the playoffs was the very frustrations that had been voicing during the course of the season. And the one guy that has stood side, neck and neck, back to back, lockstep and barrel with Mike McCarthy is who, Skip? The one guy that matters, Jerry Jones. Skip, what transpired in the playoff game that you didn't see in the regular season? Bad clock management, team getting off to a slow start, the most penalized team in the regular season, 14 penalties in the playoffs. So nothing happened in the playoffs that didn't happen throughout the course of the season. And Jerry Jones said Mike McCarthy should be commended for the job that he was doing. He had no problem with the clock management. He had no problem with the penalties.
He should be getting more credit.
There you go. And so he gave him the credit. Skip, I told you some of the best advice a coach ever gave me was Mike Shannon. He said, son, I'll never accept anything in a win that I wouldn't in a loss. When they was getting all those penalties in the win, you accepted it. When all that slow starts was happening in wins, you accepted it. When that bad clock management was happening in wins, you accepted it. So now when you lose, how can you be mad when you've been accepting it for 18 weeks? That's why Jerry stuck with him. Jerry liked the dynamic that he has with Mike McCarthy. Like you said, Mike McCarthy sits over there look like a bump on a log.
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't challenge. Jerry says, Mike says, well, guys, we got practice tomorrow at 10:30. Jerry comes and says, no, I want practice to be at 9. Okay, guys, we got practice at 9.
True.
So there's never going to be a confrontation. There's never going to be, not necessarily confrontation, but there's never going to be pushback on Mike McCarthy's side, anything Jerry Jones says. So Jerry likes the dynamic. You and I both know there'll be pushback on Sean Payton. Sean Payton has a way of doing things, and he's had success doing it that way. So for him to come in and expect him to be Mike McCarthy, to expect him to be Jason Garrett or Dave Campo or Chan Gailey, Wade Phillips, that's not going to happen. And I told you, I said, Dan Quinn, Skip, I think the thing is, Dan Quinn went back to Dallas. Had he gotten that job at Denver, you think he said, nah, Denver, I'm going to turn this one down. I'm going back to Dallas. Had he got the job in Chicago, would he have turned that down? Absolutely not. I think he started to see writing on the wall that he wasn't going to get any of these jobs in the hiring cycle. Why not go back? Hey, put my name back in the hat next year. Hey, we have another season like we had last year. Lead the league in interceptions. Be high up in takeaways. Maybe I'll be better positioned because their job's still out there, Skip. But I didn't hear his name mentioned with anything with Minnesota. I hadn't heard his name mentioned with anything with the Dolphins. So he started seeing the writing on the wall. It's gonna look good, Skip, if I'm still, all these jobs still getting out there and they're getting filled, and I'm not one of the guys going on the interview. I'm going to take my name out of the running. I'm going to go on back to Dallas. I'm going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. Well, if that was the case, why you put your name in the running anyway? You should have told the Broncos, nah, I'm good, I'm staying in Dallas. You should have told Chicago, no, I'm good, I'm staying in Chicago. You didn't do that. So if he's trying to save face, I'm going back and we're going to win a Super Bowl here. I like it here, yada, yada, yada. I get it. But back to Mike McCarthy, Jerry likes the situation. Yes, he's disappointed how it ended. But Skip, nothing, absolutely nothing happened in that playoff game that you and I, over 18 weeks, didn't talk about the regular season. You say, I seen enough, drop the mic. Mm-hmm. And you say, I've seen enough. The penalties. So Jerry's like, you know what? Jerry couldn't fire him, Skip, after he had been right behind him and co-signed everything that Mike McCarthy had done. So I'm not surprised. As a matter of fact, I told you this wasn't going to happen. I said, he ain't fired him. Mm. I know much to your chagrin, you wanted him gone, but he's going to be there again next year. And I'm going to be right back here loving it.
Mm. Yeah, you're just rooting for Mike McCarthy.
I am.
To remain until death do we part, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
When I read this news that Mike McCarthy was blessed again for another year, vote of confidence, I had to sit down and put a cold compress on my forehead because my head was splitting over this. I'm going to restate my position about please drop the Mike McCarthy. I told you from day one this team was going to have to win in spite of Mike McCarthy, and it could not. When you lead the league in penalties and you cap it off by setting a franchise playoff record for penalties against the 49ers at home.
Right.
In the wild card round, you're the only team that lost at home. That's a fireable offense.
Right.
When you have the audacity to volunteer to the media after you bounce back from that debacle against your Denver Broncos because you passed out something called monkey butt powder to your team and that re-inspired them to dominate the Atlanta Falcons 43-3. It was all about monkey butt powder, and then I told you I needed monkey butt powder because I was so chapped after that. That's a fireable offense for the head coach of the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Right. To actually admit you resorted to monkey butt powder, the clock mismanagement that started a year ago at Giants and continued, as you know, at Chargers this year against Philly at home, the blatant, embarrassing, humiliating clock mismanagement, but by this man who seems completely overmatched and overwhelmed during football games.
Right.
Is fireable offense to me. Yeah. So it all added up to, Jerry, you said right after the 49er loss, you were surprised and you were sick.
Right.
And then he said on his radio show last week that we have wasted some of the prime years of our players over the last 2 years, right? That's what he said, okay? Well, that means fireable offense, Jerry. Okay, now help me sift through this because I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time connecting all these dots.
Right.
2 + 2 does not equal 4. It equals catch-22, as in I don't even know what it means. Okay. Because let's start with Dan Quinn, shall we?
Yes.
Again, would I take Dan Quinn as my head coach over Mike McCarthy in a New York second?
Yes, you would.
I just would because I saw him do it in Atlanta, and I saw him get to 28-3, and some of that falls on your man Kyle Shanahan that they could not hold on to that Super Bowl lead against the GOAT and you think the GOAT coach.
Right.
Okay. And New England comes back and you know the rest of the story.
Correct.
Okay. So Dan Quinn has 2 interviews in Chicago. He has 2 interviews with your Denver Broncos. And I don't blame the Broncos for going for unproven Nathaniel Hackett because it is a bridge. It is a pipeline to Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
So it dramatically increases your, what I think are long shot chances of getting Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
If by chance it came down to, yes, we'll do a deal, Green Bay saying, yes, we'll do a deal. Well, obviously, Aaron would be much more bullish on Denver because he loves Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
I got that. So I give you that. But I was told that Dan Quinn talked to Jerry about what was about to happen in Dallas and that Jerry dramatically sweetened his pot, as in gave him a big raise. But I don't know this because my sources close to this don't know exactly what was said. But was it a Josh McDaniels sort of scenario where Jerry said, hey, we're on a little short leash here with Coach Mike, right? It was like the Belichick situation with Robert Kraft when, remember, Josh suddenly, shockingly withdrew his name from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't withdraw his name. He already had the job.
Right.
He pulled out.
And he already had a staff because Eberflus came from the Cowboys and joined him, and he stayed.
He did. Okay? And we all thought, well, did Kraft promise him that if Belichick steps down in the next couple of years, you're my man?
Right.
Is that what happened? Well, now it seems like Bill's going to coach another 10 years, right? Okay. So did Jerry promise that if something goes awry early next year, you're
prime position.
Right. You're position A right underneath Mike McCarthy to get this job? Because that didn't make sense. And then our man Adam Schefter reported that that Quinn withdrew his name from consideration for the Bears job. Well, is that just a PR spin, or did he really just pull out at the last second?
Eberflus got the job.
Okay, well, is that what happened? Because I don't know for sure.
I believe that's what happened. Just like I believe that, Skip, he was in the final running. It came down to him and Nathaniel Hackett for the job at the Broncos. They went with Nathaniel Hackett. Well, you can pull your name out of that job. Well, somebody else got it. Yeah, you can pull your name out of the Bears job. Someone else has it.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did you pull out, or did they get the job?
I think Eberflus got the job first. But here's the thing, Skip. Minnesota still has an opening. Miami still has an opening. The Giants still have an opening.
And remember, Jacksonville does, but according
he already pulled out of that.
He pulled out of it, okay?
Before, he's like, no, I'm good. I got to focus. I got to be where I'm at. Boots on the ground here, yada, yada, yada. I get all that.
Okay, I got it. Now let's go to my man, Sean Payton in New Orleans. What is this? I've never heard of anything like this before, because he does a bizarre hour-and-a-half press conference. He speaks to open it with a 33-minute soliloquy that said absolutely nothing, but he did make the statement, I don't think I'm going to coach next year, which to me suddenly opened the door after we heard the Mike Florio report, an excerpt from his upcoming book, that in 2019, January 2019, Jerry Jones and Sean Payton had a deal done in place where they had agreed on compensation and control in Dallas.
Right.
Compensation had to be huge, and control, that's even huger for me, because Jerry was going to have to cede control completely to Sean Payton, because there's no way he's going to Dallas without total control of free agency, draft, and coaching, right? Okay, and that's, I'm talking about if he says practice is at 9:30, Jerry says, I kind of prefer 10, it's going to be at 9:30.
What's in the contract, Jerry?
Right, okay. So then we hear that all of a sudden New Orleans opens up its coach search. I just thought they would just elevate Dennis Allen for a year and say, you're our interim coach for a year, while Coach Payton sort of just takes a sabbatical. Just cool out. If you want to do a little TV gig, that's fine. But we will welcome you back with open arms 1 year from today. Right? Ain't happening. They have opened their search up to any and all comers. They're going to go outside and interview people. Made a list.
I think Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn is on there, and Byron Leftwich is on there, and Brian Flores is on there. They're going outside the organization. Well, let's do Brian. I love Brian Flores, and I think he better get one of these jobs. Okay, so let's say you bring in Brian Flores, and you say, we want to hire you. And he'll say, for how long? Wouldn't he say, for what, a year? Do I have to sign a 1 year deal?
Well, I'm not doing anything less than a 5 year deal.
Well, okay, so what does that say for Sean Payton? Are you done?
Well, I think Sean Payton is done in New Orleans.
Do you really?
I do. I do think he's done in New Orleans.
3 years left on his deal.
And that's why anybody that wants to sign him, because after this year, Skip, he'll have 2 years left. So that's why anybody who wants to sign him is going to have to give adequate compensation to the Saints in order to get Sean Payton's services, because we're still paying him. He's still on our dime.
Okay, I got it. But to me, all of a sudden, it's open season on Sean Payton. Right?
Yeah, well, he did an interview with Dan Patrick yesterday, and he was talking about the final play of the Dallas Cowboys. Did you hear it? Did you hear the interview?
I didn't hear that part. I knew he said that 2 teams had contacted him through back channel.
No, but he was breaking down the final play. He says normally in a situation like that, we like to throw it as opposed to running it. But since they did run it, Dak needs to understand he needs to get down 2 steps sooner. And don't hand the ball to the center. Hand the ball to your official. So basically what he was saying with Jerry, this is what I would have done.
Okay, well then, doesn't that scream, I want to be the Cowboy coach?
It screams that Mike McCarthy monked it up.
Okay, thank you. So I'm screaming to myself last night, please just comfort my soul a little bit by telling me that one of those 2 teams that back channel contacted him had to be Jerry Jones.
No, it was not.
Well, it had to be.
It's not.
Right?
Skip, you're going to have to be miserable for 1 more year. Can't you handle misery for 1 year?
Okay, but if in fact he's available, and remember, you can't technically contact him right now. That's tampering. He is under 3 more years of contract with New Orleans.
The NFL might find him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's like reverse tampering, right?
He's dry snitching on himself.
Okay. So does that mean that you don't have to really compensate New Orleans if you want
you got to. Yeah, you absolutely will have to. Skip, he's under contract. They're not going to let him go for just nothing. I mean, the mere fact that they let him out of the contract, because theoretically, if you retire or resign, they don't have to pay you. They don't have to pay you.
But isn't it possible? This is what I'm going to hang my hat on it and cling to it. I believe Jerry went back to him and said, let's do it right now. And that Sean said, I'm burned out. I need a year away. I want to really try TV just to rejuvenate a little bit, right?
Yeah, because he wanted to do over. They asked him one thing, and he's like, well, because he understands in TV, Skip, you don't get 55 minutes to explain everything. You've got to be in snippets.
And we'll see if he can do that.
Right.
I think he can.
Yeah.
And maybe he'd fall in love with it and say, well, this is way easier. You know, like Bill Cowher you worked with. He just, because I thought he would come back, and he's like, hey, I got this, man.
No.
Right?
No. Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. So in the end, I believe Jerry tried for Sean and he had to go back to plan B. I still believe Mike McCarthy was plan B. And I still believe plan 1A is Dan Quinn just in case.
This is what I will say. Mike McCarthy's going to have to do a lot better this year than he did last year in order to remain in this job in 2023.
You know, talking about short leash?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that's what we do know. I think we're both in agreement with that. The mistakes that was made last year, at any point in time, Jerry will not be tolerated by Jerry this year. That bad clock management, Skip, those excessive penalties, the continuous slow start. Skip, you lost games. Think about Arizona, slow start. Raiders, slow start. Broncos, slow start. Kansas City, slow start.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Remember Coach Blueprint? Your late coach, Big Fangio. Coach Blueprint said, I just gave you the blueprint. Well, the blueprint is you just fire out of the gates.
Right.
Because they're going to come out uninspired and deadheaded.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you got control. The Raiders had control. Arizona had control. And the 49ers really had control.
Yes. So, I just think the thing is, Skip, look, the rumors are going to be there for Sean Payton. They're not very many times that a coach of his caliber steps away from the game. Tony Dungy did it, never went back.
I mean, we're talking about a top 5 coach.
Yes, at the time, yes.
Yeah.
He stepped away from the game. But talking to Tony, the one reason Tony did it is that he wanted Jim Caldwell to get a job. And he's like, this is the best position, and I don't want to leave it where the cupboard is bare, and I do him a disservice. And Coach and Caldwell got into the Super Bowl, Skip. They lost to the Saints, and then we know what happened with Peyton, and then he ended up getting relieved of his duties. But I just think the thing is, Skip, is that I don't believe Jerry was ever going to fire Mike McCarthy. He likes this situation. He likes this setup. Now, does he want someone of Sean Payton's caliber? Sure, but. Skip, I'm going to have to give up a lot, though, Skip. I got to give up some of this control. I don't want to do that.
Jerry's heading toward 80 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah, he is.
Honestly, that is pretty crazy when you say it out loud. And he likes the control, and we know that, and he's always been that way. Why would he change now if he's close to 80? Guys, we're going to move on now, talk the AFC. Joe Burrow and his Bengals stand in the way of the Chiefs going to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. And these two teams faced each other in Week 17 when Cincy snapped KC's 8-game winning streak in thrilling fashion as time expired. So, Shannon, the Chiefs are right now a 7.5-point favorite, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. I couldn't believe that number, truly. So do they win that convincingly?
Well, I'm going to take the Bengals to win. Excuse me, the Bengals. I'm taking Kansas City to win. But I think
Freudian
the Bengals
slipped again. That's twice.
That's okay.
You Freudian slipped on the first game, too.
I'm expecting us to have this Monday night game, this Monday night matchup in the Super Bowl that we got about 3 years ago, where it was fireworks all over the field, the Rams, and the Chiefs were going up and down the field. Mahomes had almost, 500 yards. I think the final score was like 55-48, something like that. I'm expecting a game like that.
Mahomes lost to Jared Goff?
There you go.
Well, I
turned the ball over. Skip, the man had 500 yards passing and turned the ball over 5 times. But anyway, they've scored 42 points. I don't think people realize this. They scored 42 points in back-to-back games, 440 yards of total offense from Mahomes back-to-back games. He has 27 total touchdowns and 1 turnover in his home playoff games. So he's almost unbeatable at home. It took a Herculean effort. It took the GOAT to beat him in overtime to hang that one loss on him, Skip. I think the thing is, look, I love the weapons that they have. The best thing that's happened to Patrick Mahomes is that he's faced the same defense for 19 weeks. Cover 2 shell, and you got to be patient. He showed the ultimate patience last week because he knows that offense in Cincinnati, they can put points on my defense. I've seen it before. They got 34 last time we played, and they walked us off.
That was January the 2nd.
Yes. So they walked us off. So he knows he's going to have to be on his A game, just like he knew he had to be on his A game against who? Josh Allen. He knows a turnover here push you down an extra possession. I believe he plays flawless. Tyreek, Kelce. I love the running back now. I love what McKinnon gives them, Skip. McKinnon gives them a little burst, a little better burst than Edwards-Helaire, a little better than Williams.
Yep.
Because not only can he run it, he can catch it as well as Williams can, but he can run it a little better than Williams. So I like that. These other guys, we saw the other guys show big in the game in Cincinnati. We saw Marcus Robinson step up. We saw Pringle step up. So with that being said, I think Chris Jones gets after Frank Clark. I love the Melvin Ingram addition. It's starting to pay dividends. I'm going to say they won a very close ball game, Skip, but I'm going score high. I'm going 42-35.
Really?
42-35, Kansas City.
Even I didn't go that high. Shannon Sharpe, I am here to reiterate what I told you yesterday. Joe Burrow is special.
Oh, you don't question.
I believe if, in fact, the GOAT is gone, as in Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. has retired or is about to, I believe that Joe Burrow will ascend to the top of the quarterback ranks. And the reason I'm saying that is because he quietly did this year. Your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, grading all quarterbacks for all 17 regular season games, said that Joe Burrow had the highest score, the highest grade. Joe Burrow. He led the league in completion percentage at 70%.
Yes.
He led the league in yards per attempt. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty spectacular. And he pulled off the biggest upset of the year. Quietly happened, I believe, Cincinnati at Tennessee. I thought that the Titans were a lock to get to the Super Bowl. They wrapped up home field. They had Derrick Henry returning. They already had a pretty good back.
Yeah, Foreman. DeAndre Foreman, I think is his name.
He's like maybe a poor man's Derrick Henry when Derrick's right and healthy. And Joe Burrow figured a way to beat them while getting sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before. But this kid is so savvy, such a shrewd operator, and so mentally and physically tough that he survived 9 sacks by a hellacious rush. And he's playing behind a pretty porous offensive line.
Yeah, that's the thing,
And he didn't give up the ball 1 time to them in 9 sacks. Usually there's going to be at least 1 strip sack.
Right.
1 sort of slot machine fumble where you just sort of yank the lever down and the ball pops out, right? It's just going to happen because it's a lot of punishment to take. And over 4 quarters, if you drop him 9 times, one of those times he's going to lose control of the football, and he didn't lose control 1 time.
You do realize they won the game, scored 19 points.
What
do you think the likelihood of them scoring 19 points and beating the Chiefs?
Okay, well, this was the Titans at the Titans, and I'm telling you, I thought the skids were greased for them to just shoot right into the Super Bowl. And you did too. You thought once they got home field twice, where you're home field to SoFi, you're golden, man.
Right.
And Burrow and that defense went in there and did it. And I get it's Ryan Tannehill. I never liked him. I was on record before his draft. I did not like him. He was a receiver playing quarterback at Texas A&M.
He reverted back to the Ryan Tannehill at Miami.
Okay, I got it. But all of a sudden, Cincy's defense got hot. And I can't explain it because I'm not saying they're a great defense. They're just a hot defense.
Yeah, well, Hendricks and Hubbard, those two DMs, they can get after you now.
Okay. And Eli Apple and they've been around and they've done it before, and they'll get their hands on the football and pop it up in the air and pick it off. Opportunistic, but hot. That's the key, is just hot. So all of a sudden, they're going to go in there, and I think they'll cause some problems for Patrick Mahomes. Maybe even some problems that Buffalo didn't. And Buffalo had the #1 defense, but I just think Patrick thinks he's got their number.
Yeah, well, Skip, I mean, you did that to the #1 pass defense, the #1 points defense.
I got it. Okay.
3rd down.
Okay, but what do we know that happened on January the 2nd? Albeit in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow threw for 446 yards. He went 30 of 39. He threw 4 touchdown passes with 0 picks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about special? He out Mahomes.
Right.
Right? He was the driving force of that victory that will propel them into this game. I promise you, once they went to Tennessee and won against that team, do you think they'll be afraid of Arrowhead? Because I don't.
No. But Skip, I don't think Buffalo was afraid of Arrowhead, considering they had gone there just early in the year and put 38 on them, beat them 38-20, took them apart.
Yep.
And we saw what they did to New England the week before, they went to Kansas City, took them apart, said basically that it's over. There's a new sheriff in town. You're done. You guys are done. Patrick Mahomes, Skip, and I think the thing is that the Kansas City had some opportunities. They blew some assignments. You know, if you're going to trap the corner on the 2 side, the safety has to get wide. Well, Sorensen was in there, and he didn't get wide. They tried to trap the corner. Joe Burrow stared his one down, and he hit Jamar Chase on the rail route.
He did.
There are certain things on 3rd and 17. Why would you play single high safety on 3rd and 17? Make him throw the ball underneath. There are some mistakes that were made that to Joe Burrow credit. Every mistake that the Chiefs made defensively, he made them pay the ultimate price. And that's the mark of a great quarterback. That's the mark of a great offense. You make a mistake, Skip, I'm not trying to get 20 yards in the first down. I'm going to hit my head on the goalpost. Kansas City. The Bengals came out of their comfort zone once. It was a tie ball game. They went 0 blitz, caught Patrick Mahomes off guard, made him throw the ball away. They get the ball back. They drive down the field, kick the walk off.
Yep.
He'll be prepared for it this time.
Okay. Well, I got you. And he's found himself again. He has snapped out of his slump.
Hey, that guy.
Well, I don't know.
What you talking about earlier? You remember you said earlier that
Yep.
the 49ers were the lions, and there's panthers, there's leopards, there's cheetahs, hyenas, jackals, dingoes.
Yep.
But there's only one sultan. My homeboy, he's sultan. The big black mane prime. They said he reached their prime in about 4 years, Skip. He's an apex.
Shannon.
Yeah, sultan.
He's up against another lion who's a little younger, just a little younger.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. But Sultan, Skip, they got to back down. You remember that the Ghost in the Darkness? You remember that movie?
I loved it.
That's him. That's him. Without rhyme or reason, he does what he does.
Hunts. Shannon Sharpe. Joe Burrow is about to arrive nationally and publicly on Sunday at Arrowhead. I believe he'll walk out of that game as the new it kid in pro football and in sports.
He'll make a great showing.
Yeah.
But Mahomes going to his 3rd Super Bowl.
This is going to be his day. He will rise and shine above Patrick Mahomes. And don't discount his weapons because...
Oh, they loaded. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They got Boyd. They got the tight end.
Uzama.
Uzama. Joe Mixon can run the football.
Joe Mixon ran for 1,200 yards. He scored 13 rushing TDs. He caught 42 balls.
Yes.
He caught 3 touchdown passes. You want to talk about a weapon?
They get the Kansas City might have bigger weapons when you look at Tyreek, when you look at Kelce.
I'll give you that.
But as a whole, Kansas City weapons might be better. Cincinnati's big weapons might be better. As a whole, you look at all the receivers and the running back.
Okay, which is why this offense and this quarterback have caught fire over the last 5 games. Joe Burrow, 5 games, averaging 344 a game, 75% completions, 11 touchdowns to 1 interception. He has gone LSU hot on the NFL. He had the greatest year of college football we have ever seen a quarterback have.
Yes, I'll give you that.
Won the championship, won the Heisman, and he's on an LSU roll again. Of all the quarterbacks I see, all the young quarterbacks, the one who can see it and feel it and perform it the way in Brady's class is this kid. He is as Brady-esque as anybody left standing right now, if in fact we don't have Tom Brady anymore. So I believe he will go Brady-esque on Patrick Mahomes, and I believe he will prevail. And I got it not as high scoring as you. I'm just going to repeat the score at Cincinnati. I'm going to go 34-31 visiting team. I'm
going high.
Okay.
My homeboy don't miss it. Hey, at home, he don't miss. He don't miss at home, Scott. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't miss at home. You've seen this before.
I saw the GOAT go in there and make him miss.
Young. Oh, baby. He was baby Mahomes then.
Was he?
Yeah. He just put down the rattler. Now he's a grown man. Ain't nobody else going in there in the playoffs. Been down 24-0. Come back. Been down to Tennessee. Come back. Down to Buffalo. Skip, you do realize, Mr. 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Do you realize what this man did in 13?
Yep.
Something your guys couldn't do in 14.
We're not talking about my guys.
Oh, my bad. I know that's still a
My guys are hamstrung by their head coach. That's all you need to know.
I mean, at this point, I didn't realize I was rooting for the Bengals, but I full on, apparently, by what I picked to wear today.
Yeah, you are, Jenny.
For the Bengals.
That's
I'm
unacceptable.
all in. I do like Joe Burrow.
You biased.
Sorry about that, Shannon. We're going to have to see how this one plays out.
No mercy.
So we know this by now. LeBron missed last night's game with left knee soreness, leaving the Lakers without their full lineup yet again as LA fell to Philadelphia. He warmed up for about 3-4 minutes before the game, but didn't play on the first night of a back-to-back. And the Kings' status against Michael Jordan's Hornets squad tonight, still uncertain. So, Shannon, big deal or no big deal here with LeBron?
It's no big deal, Skip. It's maintenance. I mean, you know, when you keep extending your knee like he has been putting puts in people for better part of 2 months, your knee gets sore. Imagine just kicking. The man tired.
He sprained his knee kicking people in the butt.
Yeah.
Kicking.
Unbelievable.
The man tired like a one-leg man in the butt kicking contest. You know how tired you be in a butt kicking contest with one leg?
And he needed a night off.
Yeah, took that back to back.
Wow.
Got something for you tonight, though. Look, I don't believe it's anything serious. I just believe that Skip, 37 years of age, night of a back-to-back after playing, he only played 34. I think he played like 35 minutes against Brooklyn, did a number on them. So he's like, you know what? 2 nights, we're going to have to play, we got to play Philly, and then we got back-to-back. We're going to play these young guns up in Charlotte. They getting up and down the court. Skip, they just dropped 158 in the regulation game. Do you know how hard it is to get to 158 points in regulation? They did that. They're good young teams. They can run all night. Kelly Oubre coming off the bench. He dropping 10 points, twin threes coming off the bench. This will be a good test for the Lakers. I hope LeBron plays. Go and keep that thing. I mean, if he played, I'm thinking probably about 40. Probably about 48 and 10. Something like that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You thinking that too? Yeah, I am. He's been carrying a heavy burden, Skip. And so this is... I'm sorry for the Sixers fans because I know, look, I saw a lot of those Lakers jerseys, Skip. Everybody showed up. They wanted to see him play because he's playing at an extremely high level. Named captain again, leading vote getter again. And people have the nerve to say, is it somebody else generation? Really? Don't make me laugh.
What's LeBron's record now?
I don't know what his record
They're
is.
a game under 500?
Oh, he don't get credit. He wasn't playing.
24 and 25?
Hold up, time out. I just want him to take credit for the games in which he participated in. Don't you hang those losses on him. He was out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I thought he was the unofficial head coach of the team.
No, he ain't no unofficial head coach. Look, hopefully with AD being back. Now, that AD last night, and the LeBron that we've seen for the last 2.5 months, we can cause some damage. We can do something bad to people. Really?
So now you're back on the bandwagon.
I'm going to see how it goes, Skip. Because what AD saw last night is what LeBron has been going through for the last 2 weeks. AD give us 33 and 12, and nobody else comes along with him. That's what happened with LeBron. For the better part of the season, when he's been in there, he's putting up these Herculean numbers, and not enough people are coming along with him. That happened last night. So if we can get those two linked up together, we're in the money.
As in win the West?
I say we're in the money. I ain't saying that we're going to win. I say we're going to be in the money.
We're in the playoffs? Is that what you're saying? I hope. You've been saying for weeks, I'm not sure they're even going to make the playoffs.
Skip, that's a really low bar. Okay. You talk about the Lakers in the playoffs. That's a really low bar. We don't really, that ain't what we gravitate toward.
So, Shannon Sharpe. Your man, LeBron James, he is a piece of work.
What happened? What did he do now?
He has turned into the greatest entertainer in all of sports. And I'm talking about off the floor. I'm talking about before and after games. He entertains me even more than my man Gerald Wayne Jones Jr. does. He is beyond Jerry Jones as a daily entertainer for me, for better and for worse. So this was Drama King at his best last night.
What'd he do?
He comes out before the game. If we could see the tape again, this was about 3 to 4 minutes of, I need to show everybody just how bad my knee is. I'm going to try it. I'm going to be a little ginger over here, and I'm going to step on. I'm going to push down a little bit on. I don't know. I don't know about that knee. I don't think I can go. I tried. I came out here and I gave it a try, but it's my knee. And I got to shut it down for this night because he needed to load manage one night in Philadelphia to get ready for a game at GOAT's team. Because he lives to play against Michael Jordan's team, not against Michael Jordan himself.
He did something bad
because if Michael Jordan could still play right now, that would be the game you'd be load managing. You'd want to miss that game because he would be destroying you.
Why we want to load manage against Mike?
Well, because
we want to do something bad to him.
Yeah, well, you'd be getting it right between the eyes from the baddest man who ever laced him up. That's what would have happened. But again, it's easy for, he's sitting up there in his suite somewhere. He might even be sitting courtside tonight.
He's courtside.
Okay? He just might be. Well, sometimes he's up there. He moves around a little bit. But
he needs to see when Bron come to town, he courtside because he need to witness up close and personal the man that surpassed him.
Yeah, I think he wants to be there in presence alone just to sort of exert his force field onto the floor. But LeBron has lit up what's been left of his basketball
team. It didn't matter. Remember the playoffs?
Michael has proven to be the worst GM in the history of sports. You remember what he did to him in the playoffs? Yeah, I do.
You remember that 61-point performance that he did?
Do I?
Oh, okay.
Do I? So let's get this straight. Who's the better team, the bigger threat to the Lakers? Is it Philly or Charlotte? Well, obviously it's Philly because it's Joel Embiid. It's Doc Rivers. They're the better team.
If we'd had LeBron last night, we'd have beat them.
Oh, you really think so?
Yeah.
You fell behind by 22 and lost by 18. But you really think LeBron would have made that big a difference?
Yes, he would have because Joel Embiid had an off night last night.
He got destroyed by Anthony Davis because you know how Joel works. He's like, no, we got this. We can kind of take this night off because there's no Bron tonight. So I'll just coast. AD's back only for his second game, and he got coasted on. Yeah. He got run over.
Yeah, he got, 33-12 in 4 blocks?
I mean, AD laid it on him, and Joel had to stay in the game in the fourth quarter to just get his points up. What did he wind up with, like
26?
26.
It took him 20 shots, though.
Took him 20 shots, and he missed 5 free throws, which he never misses, 8 of 13.
Made no threes. He attempted 5.
No threes, and 9 rebounds for him is low. So he took the night off. But the point was, LeBron definitely took the night off because he wanted to save himself for the back-to-back night at Charlotte because that's the one he circles every year when the schedule comes out. I got to go put it on the GOAT so that I can reconvince all those billions of blind witnesses out there that I'm actually the GOAT. If I beat the GOAT's team, that makes me the GOAT, right? That's the rationale that you exercise.
No, what makes him the GOAT is what he's done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Longevity, I give you GOAT, but not in performance. Because 4 and 6 in the finals will not get you any GOAT. Right?
He's going to win another one before he leaves. And he's going to have 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. Yep, that'll do it.
If he's going to win another one before he leaves, how many more years is he going to play? Like 5?
No. Well, I don't know how many. I'm saying he's going to win another one before he leaves the NBA. He's going to win another title.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, how?
What you mean, how?
Well, they're like from L.A. to New York away from winning this year.
You asked how they was going to win the one that he won.
Well,
you said he was only coming out here for entertainment.
Chasing Michael B. Jordan. And then when he caught Michael B., because I think he did off the court, he
got
caught
a title.
him. Yeah, he's
Did we not get the title?
You won the bubble championship, and you got to play a Miami Heat that lost 2 of its best players before and in game 1.
They wouldn't beat us.
It's a walkover.
They wouldn't beat us.
Cakewalk.
They wouldn't beat us. Huh? They weren't going to beat us.
They weren't going to beat you if they'd been full strength? With Dragic and Bam? You don't think so? You went 6 games.
Drago, it didn't win.
Yeah. I'm sorry, they would have won that. The Heat were on fire, and then all of a sudden they lose their leading scorer in the playoffs, Dragic.
It did. LeBron just put him out.
Did he?
By extinguishment.
I thought Rondo put him out.
Stop it.
I do. All the big shots made in games 5 and 6 were by one Rondo.
Skip, you do realize LeBron, you know what he did. 29, 11 and a half, and 8. Stop.
I love it that LeBron went out there before the game. I don't know about my knee.
The man knee was sore.
I don't know about my knee. Let me kind of bounce on a little bit. Oh, it's a little sore. Because he does not want to admit that he load manages, so he has to remember. He said, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? LeBron doesn't load manage.
Right. LeBron healthy, LeBron plays. Okay, he wasn't healthy.
And all of a sudden his knee comes up sore, they said, on Thursday morning at the shoot-around?
Yeah, man, I've been getting up early shooting around, man. The man 37. You make me think I spring out of bed like I did when I was 25. I don't.
Think he's going to play tonight?
I mean, I have to, turn around and get out of bed and just sit there on the edge of the bed for a minute or two. Let things start percolating. Really? Yeah. I don't just hop up out of bed.
You don't?
No.
I do.
I used to just backflip up out of bed. Yeah. Now, I have to sit there. I put both feet down in my house shoes and just sit there for a minute or two. Thank you, Lord. Woo. Then I get on up and go about my day. Yeah.
So that's why you lose every debate to me. You can't get awake, right?
We all wake up very early for this show. So that might be. And we all know that I'm not jumping out of bed.
We up earlier.
I can't even get up lately, but that's for other reasons.
No mercy.
Sunday, the NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax Live is on Fox with a clash between division rivals as Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers take on Matthew Stafford and the Rams for a trip to Super Bowl 56. It all kicks off at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Well, OBJ didn't find the end zone last week, but since arriving in L.A., he's totaled 6 touchdowns in 10 games with the Rams. However, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, OBJ has an over-under of 50.5 receiving yards for Sunday, while teammate Cooper Kupp is slated for 105.5. He has been incredible. We know that. Shannon, what will each receiver end up with? What do you think?
Well, I think Odell is definitely going to be over 50.5 yards. I think it'll be somewhere around 70, 75. What they'll try to do, they'll try to neutralize Cooper Kupp, which is a lot easier said than done. Kupp, in his first game, Skip, he had 122 yards with 11 catches on 13 targets. In the second game, in which they lost, he had 7 for 118 on a touchdown in the season finale on 7 targets. So you can see the discrepancy as far as targets. He gets far more targets, so you would expect him to have double the amount of yards as Odell. But I think the thing is that what happened is that if you look at the way the San Francisco 49ers did it against Devontae Adams, he had 4 catches on the first 2 drives. He had 5 the rest of the game. So they basically said, we're going to take Devontae away. We're going to see if Lazard, we're going to see if Randall Cobb, we're going to see if Equanimous St. Brown, if they can beat us. Well, Odell Beckham is better than all those guys. So if you take Cooper Kupp away, now they're still going to try to find a way to get him the ball because they're going to move him around. They're going to line him up in the backfield, Skip. They'll put him in motion, put him in the slot, put him out wide. They'll do a lot of different things. 3x1, 2x1, bunch, stack. They'll do a lot of different things to try to get him the ball. But I like the fact that Odell Beckham working against single coverage against a team that is penalized in the secondary for a lot of PIs because they do a lot of clutching and grabbing, and you're taught, make them call it. And then, you know what? Make them call it again. And I believe this unit will call those penalties. So I'm going to say Odell has around, I'm going to say he has at least 75 yards on, I'm going to say 7 catches for at least 75. Cooper Kupp, I'm going to say 240, 120. So he's averaging 9 catches for 120 yards. So he'll be, what's his numbers going to be?
105.5.
He'll be
over under.
I'm going to say he'll be right on there. He'll be 110.
110.
Yeah. So I believe both guys go over.
Okay, Shannon Sharpe, because you are in the Hall of Fame as a receiver, you're going to have to explain this one to me.
Okay.
Because I cannot make this compute. I can't get this through my thick head.
Okay.
Odell Beckham Jr. is only 29 years of age.
Yes.
He has made 3 Pro Bowls.
Correct.
And a lot of people still consider him a superstar receiver, right?
Okay.
And yet, his over-under for the biggest game of the year for the Rams is only 50.5 yards. Wait a second. His teammates over-under is 105.5?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that Las Vegas, the odds makers, are saying you're going to have less than half the receiving yards over-under.
Yeah.
That a little white guy from Eastern Washington is going to have, who is not even in your class, Odell, when it comes to speed, quickness, athletic ability, just freakishness, not even in your ballpark, right? How can that be? I can't get it through my thick head.
Well, Cooper Kupp averages 12 to 13 targets a game. Odell Beckham averages 5 to 6. So you mean double the targets, that means double the yards.
Okay,
so
why wouldn't Odell get double the targets?
Skip, you stop.
Well, why not? Well,
Skip.
Explain.
Cooper Kupp was on this team. He had a historically great season last year. This season, 145, 1,900, and 17 touchdowns. Skip, nobody expected Odell to come halfway through the season and supplant Cooper Kupp. Come on now, we got to find a better.
Now we're 10 games in.
Still Cooper Kupp is the guy. They're still targeting Cooper Kupp.
Wow. I don't know why. Twice as much?
Yes.
So is Cooper Kupp twice as good as Odell?
That doesn't mean.
Well, is he? Because the numbers would say yes, he is.
Okay, if that's what you want to say. Okay.
No, I'm not saying. I'm asking.
No.
And you're not explaining.
The explanation is Cooper Kupp was in this system. The system is built for what Cooper Kupp does really well. Cooper Kupp does a lot of his damage between the numbers. Odell Beckham is an outside the numbers receiver. He does great with in-breaking routes. He can run the out route. He can run the stop route. He can do high point.
He can run all kinds of crossing routes.
But Odell is an outside the numbers receiver. Hence why Cooper Kupp doesn't get the credit that an outside Devontae Adams, who mainly spends the bulk of his time outside, gets.
Interesting. I don't get it.
You get it.
So Odell is...
What you're trying to do is minimize Odell by because the fact of the matter is he got out of Cleveland and he's playing really well. So now you say, well, if he's that good, why is he better than Cooper Kupp?
He's playing really well.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so he went the last 8 games for the Rams, and he averaged 3.4 catches per game.
How many touchdowns?
That's pretty low.
How many touchdowns
Wait,
in 10
I'm not
games?
finished.
Okay.
38 yards a game?
And 6 touchdowns.
38 yards? So that's why the odds makers are saying, well, for 8 games, he averaged only 38. So we'll bump him up for this playoff game because we've seen a little growth here. We've seen 54. We saw 69. We'll bump him up to 50.5. But that's all we're going to do. We're going to dare you to bet over 50.5.
But here's the thing, Skip. Cooper Kupp is still getting 12 targets a game. When you get that many targets a game, shouldn't you, let's just say for the sake of argument, you get 12, 13 targets. You catch 9 to 10 balls. Shouldn't you have 100 yards if you just average a first down a catch?
But I promise you, a lot of Odell fans watching us right here, right now, if you gave them the keys to the kingdom, you said, you game plan this, you call the plays, they would call twice as many plays for Odell than they would for Cooper Kupp. They just would because they consider Odell a super duper star now gone to Hollywood.
Skip. The thing is that you have to look at what Cooper Kupp is doing, what he did the year before, what he's doing this year. He had more.
Look at what Odell did in his first 4 years.
Skip, that was 4 years. No. See, the past. See, you want to live in there. We're here now.
No, well, I think you're living there.
No, I'm not. I understand what Odell is. What you're trying to do is that you're trying to minimize what he's actually doing. He's performing better. Is he not performing better in L.A. than he did in Cleveland? Yes or no?
Well, not much.
Seriously. Let me ask you a question. How many touchdowns did he have in Cleveland in 8 games?
Well, the better question is, once he got hurt, knocking on wood that he doesn't get hurt again, once he got hurt a year ago, we're going back 2 regular seasons ago, what happened to the Browns and their quarterback? They took off.
Okay, so why didn't they take off this year?
Well, because the quarterback got hurt.
Oh, now he hurt.
Surgery.
Now he hurt again.
Now he hurt again.
Now he hurt again.
He hurt all year.
Now he hurt again.
Well, he needed surgery, and I told you he needs surgery, and he had it as soon as the season ended.
So why he should have had the surgery early?
I said that. There's no way he should be playing.
Well, he didn't look like he needed surgery when he threw that Hail Mary. He threw a 65. He threw it farther than he's ever thrown it in any NFL game. And didn't mention anything about his shoulder hurt when he beat Cincinnati. Now, when they went and beat Joe Burrow, you did not mention that shoulder.
No, I did. He did it in spite of.
Oh, now in spite of. Okay, so why did he win more games in spite of the shoulder?
Because he was really hurt.
Oh, now he really hurt. But he wasn't really hurt against Cincinnati.
And their team was decimated on both sides. Both sides of the ball. Rams weren't decimated.
Hold on, time out. I'm just trying to figure out. Now they decimated on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
But that was Odell's fault, right?
Well, they lost both running backs. You got to have some run game.
Hold on, but no, you blamed everything that happened in Cleveland on Odell. Now you're saying it was the running back?
I didn't blame it all on him, but he was partly responsible. And as soon as he got to Matt Stafford was leading the league in QBR at 69, plummeted all the way to 54 through those 8 games.
Let me ask you a question. Where's Matt Stafford right now?
Well, all he did once Odell joined him, from that point on, last 8 games, he led the NFL in interceptions. Is that any coincidence? So let's see. Baker struggled with Odell, and Matt Stafford really struggled with Odell.
But see, here's the thing. Anybody that watched the game knows that those interceptions that Matthew Stafford was forcing, the ones that he forced in Baltimore that got that pick 6 when he should have went to Cooper Kupp, the one that he missed Van Jefferson on the over route that he threw to Odell with 3 people around him.
It well.
Exactly. That's not Odell's fault. That's on Matthew Stafford. Read the defense.
That's Odell-centric. I got to force the ball to Odell because we don't want him to become unhappy. He needs the sugar. Throw him in the sugar.
Skip.
Right?
Odell hasn't caused a problem in Cleveland. I get it. At some point in time.
Hasn't caused a problem.
No.
Did you see what his dad posted?
That ain't Odell.
Yeah.
That ain't Odell.
Oh, you always tell me what relatives post, it's coming straight from the horse's mouth.
Well, hold on. All the time that you were showing Odell drops. Odell ain't have no problem with that. Odell said, well, hold on. You showing my drops, and Baker family was pleased with that. But when Odell dad put a compilation together, or he got something off the internet, it was a problem. How dare you do that? You'll come out here every day and blame Odell for showing his highlights, his low lights when he dropped the pass.
Boy, he had a bunch of big 3rd and 4th down drops.
He ain't have 12 minutes worth. Odell dad put something out there for 12 minutes. Did he have 12 minutes of drops?
Oh, boy,
he didn't have 12 minutes hitting the man all in the back of the head. He thought his name was David Beckham.
Really?
It was Odell Beckham.
Is that right?
Yeah, hitting him all in the foot. Hitting him all in the back of his head.
All I know is that this week Odell is talking.
What he talked about? What did he say?
He is happy.
The man should be happy.
He's in Hollywood. He's found nirvana with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay and the Hollywood Rams. And he's experiencing, to use his word, a revival of the season. A revival. We're all going to the tent because it is a revival led by Pastor Odell Beckham Jr., right?
Take him to church, Odell.
It's going to end this Sunday. It's just going to end. I'm sorry.
You hope it ends.
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You hope it. Because, how bad is it going to look? Odell in the Super Bowl and the Cleveland Browns didn't make the playoffs because you and a lot of others have pinned everything that went wrong in Cleveland on Odell. Now you talk about Odell's shoulder. Baker's shoulder. You never said anything about it was Odell. It was Odell. You remember those 11 games without Odell? He took off. You talked about now the running backs were hurt. You didn't mention anything about Chubb Rock being hurt. You didn't mention anything about Hunt. They was down to their 5th back. You mentioned Odell. You didn't mention anything about the defense being not what they were supposed to be. You blamed Odell. Now all these injuries, Odell is up out of there. Well, the reason why they was losing, Baker Mayfield's shoulder. They was down on their 5th running back. The defense didn't perform. Or Jarvis Landry. You even took a shot at Jarvis. Jarvis is now, he's just walking around. He just, I don't know Jarvis because it was Odell. Odell is his boy, and they flipped on Baker.
You know why Odell's so happy right now?
He away from Baker.
The pressure is off.
Ain't no pressure off.
He said yesterday, I did not come here thinking I was going to be the number 1 receiver because he doesn't want to be the number 1.
Yes,
he loves being the number 4 receiver.
No.
If I get him, it's no big deal because nobody's really expecting much.
Let me ask you a question. What receiver can go to Green Bay and be the number 1 over Devontae?
We're talking about a 3-time Pro Bowler here, right? Superstar.
I'm just asking you. What receiver can go to Green Bay? Okay, what receiver can go to Kansas City and be number 1 over Tyreek?
Well, it should have been Odell.
Who's going to Cincinnati?
Odell.
How?
That's how you talk about him, like he's a superstar.
No, Skip. No. I give credit where it's due.
And then he talked about how much fun he's having playing football again because he says it's no longer about the business or the politics of football. It's big kids at heart who are just loving having fun playing football. And he says we can go lay it on the line in defeat or victory.
Yeah.
So he's trying to undercut the pressure of winning football games. If it happens, it happens.
And we ain't got a guy here doing 1,500 commercials and not in his playbook. We got a guy that every commercial come on, he in it. Yeah, he up in it.
Maybe Odell's jealous of that.
Oh, now he's jealous.
Well, how many commercials does
the man say he's happy? He in L.A., they in the championship game, chance to go to the Super Bowl. He's about to be a father in the spring. What is that? Life is great
he's
for
not
them.
Looking back at this
Big
point.
Late pass, dropsies.
No mercy.
With 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter, 2 fans in Philadelphia were ejected after what Carmelo Anthony called, quote, unacceptable harassment. Melo said one of the fans referred to him as, quote, boy. And when talking about the ejection, he said, when you cross certain lines, that's what you're going to get. So, Shannon, I start with you. What is your reaction to this?
Good for Melo calling it out. Skip, everybody knows. White person cannot call a black man a boy. Period. And here's the thing, Skip. You know the words to get a reaction, regardless of the race of person that you're talking to. You know the trigger word if you want to say something to a Jewish person, or you want to say something to an Asian person or a Hispanic person. You know the catch word. You know it. And then it's like, man, athletes should have thicker skin than that. You making millions. No. That's not the point. You buy a ticket to sit down. You want to cheer. If you want to say, Melo, you washed up. Melo, you suck. Melo, you terrible. I don't even know why you're still in the NBA. You can't play. You're only there because of LeBron. You're LeBron's freak. Say all of that. But when you step over the lines and you get into that area of racism, That's where I got to draw the line. That's where I got to check you.
Yep.
And I think I think Melo handled it very well. Go to the official, tell him to get his butt up out of there. And the Sixers, if they got any courage, and whomever runs the building, he's banned from that building. You can't see a tractor show. You can't see a dog show. You are not allowed to come back into Wells Fargo. Period. I mean, when does it stop, Skip? I was just reading the story the other day about in hockey, the EHL.
Yep.
The guy, the black guy, he makes PK Subban's brother. I think his name is Jordan Subban.
Yep.
He make the monkey gesture, and then talk about I didn't know what that meant. Really, Skip? You know if you call a black person a boy, you know if you call him a monkey, ape, or gorilla, you know what that means. And to sit there and for people to think, well, that's okay. You're an athlete, you should be no. It's just like if I go into a restaurant just because I'm playing for a service, I couldn't be able to scream profanities at the worker or throw things at the workers. When did that become okay? But see, that just goes to show you how they still see you. That's how they view you. You can never, if you black in America, you can never get high enough that they see you outside of that. Because you still that, Skip. You black, I got 100 billion. You got 100 billion, but you still, you know. I own 50,000 businesses, but you know, what I will do, I will say a word to you to make you relive 400 years of what has transpired. I'm glad Melo did it. I'm glad the officials came, security escorted his butt up out of there. And anybody that thinks this is okay because Melo is a professional athlete, because he's paid an exorbitant amount of money, that this is okay, you're totally wrong. But he should be banned from the building, and I'm glad Melo handled it. And I'm glad Melo told what he said. Because now I want to hear people say, well, no, you cannot call that, Skip. Women call each other certain words that a man can't say. I'm cool with it. I've heard gay people call each other certain words. I'm cool with it. How you talk to your subculture, I'm good with that. But don't you step over the line and think you okay because you're not in that culture.
Thank you for all that you just said. Now back to the man in question here, Carmelo Anthony. The reason I appreciated this the most was Carmelo Anthony has been doing this for a long time at the highest level. And he's done it in New York, and now he's doing it in LA, and obviously done it in Denver. He's been around this block many times, and I've been around Carmelo enough to tell you that his anger management mechanism is high, where he's a tough man, but he's also, he can tolerate a good deal. So what he said afterwards, I loved, because he said, I'm cool with fans heckling, and I think with Carmelo, you can push it right to the edge. He said, I'm cool with fans talking trash. You can talk all kinds of trash to him. There's just one line you cannot cross.
Keep it in between the lines.
He said, I'm cool. You can cheer for your team. You can boo the other team. I'm cool with that. But when you cross certain lines as a man, you're going to get what you get. So he put up with it for much of the game, because this didn't happen until 7 minutes were left in the game. And it had gotten out of hand at that point, and they were getting routed. And the heckler was getting louder and louder and bolder and bolder. And all of a sudden, he crossed that line. And what originally threw me, I don't know if we've been showing the video, but it looked like they escorted two fans out, and one was white and one was black. And I was like, wait a second, what is that about? But they said later, I think it's just the white fan who got ejected, because the officials said at the arena that only one fan got ejected. So
I guess the black guy came with him.
I don't know if he came with him, but
he was leaving behind him.
He was leaving behind him. I'm not sure exactly what was going on, but that fan, the white fan, is the one who got ejected.
And the black guy got a Knicks jersey on. I think that's a Knicks jersey.
Like a Carmelo jersey?
Oh, it's Iverson jersey. It's Iverson. That's them right there.
Iverson.
That's them right there.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, him.
All right. Okay, so Carmelo continued to go back and forth with somebody who was left up in the stands after these two left. Okay?
No, that was on the baseline, Skip. You talking about the one he was arguing with in Joel?
No, it ensued after this. He kept going back and forth with somebody else. I don't know if it's somebody trying to defend the white guy. I have no idea. But I am so with you that Melo handled it correctly. He didn't go, Ron Artest. He didn't go after him.
Right.
But you have to go take your stand.
Right.
And then hope that the ushers do their duty.
Right.
And by the way, this arena passed a law before this season started, and Wells Fargo Center announced a zero tolerance policy for, quote, racial or identity-based language.
Okay.
Well, that qualifies.
That qualifies.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you are gone.
Right.
And I don't know if it means permanent ban, but I think that's what we're indicating.
Yeah, you should.
Right?
You should, yeah.
Okay, so now let me flash back quickly to the most uncomfortable moment of my career occurred, and it was a long time ago, but I'm going to tell you a quick story because it involves your sport. It was my Dallas Cowboys in Thousand Oaks at training camp. Mm-hmm. And it was when Gene Stallings, who went on to greatness as the head coach at Alabama,
yeah.
But he was unenlightened at this point, had coached at Texas A&M, and a rookie, undrafted free agent from Grambling named Everson Walls made a mistake during a camp practice back in the day when they brought 100 free agents. So, as you know, you went through some of this because they had a bunch when you were.
Well, I was the first year they capped this, Skip. You could only bring 80. Up until that point, 80. You could bring 100, but 120. 80. Yeah.
So, how do you distinguish yourself?
Right.
And unfortunately for Everson, who became a great player, he undistinguished himself by making a mistake. So Gene loved what he'd seen so far from that undrafted kid. He loved his ball instincts, but he went after him in front. We're on the sideline. Right. I'm standing watching this, and there are like 50 media representatives. Right. And Gene used that boy, you don't do that at this level. Boy, and he used boy like 5 times. Gene subsequently apologized for it and said, I just didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And I cannot tell you the discomfort I felt watching that, because I get goosebumps talking about it, because it's a word you do not apply. I don't care in anger. I don't care if you're he was the defensive backs coach at that point. Right. I don't care what it is.
No.
Shannon Sharpe would not have accepted that. And Everson, just being the undrafted rookie from and grew up in Dallas, Texas, he swallowed it, but it was difficult, and he's talked about how difficult it was. Yeah. But to Gene's credit, he was then enlightened and profuse apologies and went on again to greatness. They won a national championship at Alabama.
But you have to understand, Skip, in the South, that was very common. Now, I don't know how, like I said, I spent lion's share of my career as a kid, growing up as a young man in the South.
You did.
And that's how they referred to young black.
But that's plantation mentality.
Yes, that's how they did it. Yeah. That's what they call you. And Ozzie, I pick up the phone right now. I call Ozzie Newsome.
Yep.
First thing you're gonna say, boy, what you doing?
Yeah. Okay, but that's
it. I got it. Every time. Never fails. I don't think he's been doing it for 20 years since I signed with the Ravens. Same thing. That's what I expect. I'm cool. But you think if I would have picked up the phone and called Mike, or if I pick up the phone and call another one of my coaches or somebody, and you could be in the hell now. And he thought that was okay. Skip, you see, the thing is, if I really want to make you upset, I got to go to the lowest common denominator. And that's what people do when you get into an argument, Skip. Mm-hmm. I'm really trying to get you. Yeah. I'm going to go to the lowest thing. What can I say? And you see that a lot of times, sometimes when men argue with women, what do? They go to the lowest common denominator. You start calling people garden utensils, and you call them a this, and you call them a that, because I know I'm gonna get a response, the response that I want. He wanted that response that he got. He thought he would probably had a little alcohol in him, but see, Skip, that's the sober mouth.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's what spoke. See, alcohol will give you confidence to say things. You thought about it sober, but then the alcohol will give you the confidence to go ahead and say it.
Yeah. So just to sum this up, there's obviously one other word that's, to me, 100 times worse that starts with N.
Oh, yeah.
But this one also crosses the line.
Absolutely.
So good for Carmelo.
Yeah.
Good for the way they handled it. It was done quickly and I thought pretty cleanly.
I love the fact but Melo said, this is what he said. There is no guesswork. When I wonder what he said, Melo never expected. There is no guess. There's no, we guess or we think. This is what he said. Yeah. And he crossed the line, and this is why we had him removed. Kudos to the officials. Kudos to security. Now, hopefully, the policy has teeth, and his butt's not allowed to come back into Wells Fargo to see anything.
There's no room for this.
Thank you.
Absolutely no room for this.
No mercy.
In a new article in The Athletic, Joe Burrow was listed above Josh Allen and Justin Herbert as the best up-and-coming QB to join the elite class featuring Patrick Mahomes. Talking about Burrow compared to Allen and Herbert, one offensive coach said, quote, he's the best decision maker and he's the toughest mentally, the most resilient, the best leader. Pretty great quote. Shannon, how close is Joe Burrow to your guy Patrick Mahomes?
No. He ain't there.
Just no.
If you want to,
like not even in the universe.
If you want to say he's better than Josh Allen, me personally, I would take Josh Allen because I think he has better legs, and so I believe he'll be able to get out of harm's way better. His offensive line. That's not to say, and I agree, tough to take the amount of sacks, the punishment that he's taken in his first 3 years. Because remember, Skip, he lost his rookie season on a sack, tore his ACL.
He did.
Got sacked 9 times and still was able to leave a game-winning drive, get a field goal, win the game, finds himself in the AFC Championship game. So if you want to say mentally tougher of those two, I will concede that. I'm not going to debate that. But now you come, and now you want to see the Sultan, which is one Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes boy. Nah, Skip. He's not there yet. Not with 12 victories in his first 2 years of starting. When that guy got 50. 50. He's 50 and 13. One guy was a Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards in his second season of starting. And I don't want to hear nothing about weapons, because let's not pretend Joe Burrow does not have weapons. He has weapons. And as a whole, his weapons probably are better than Patrick Mahomes. When you look at Chase, Boyd, T. Higgins, the tight end, Joe Mixon, yeah. Mahomes on the level, Skip. The way he can do it, his arm angles, and it seems to me, Skip, he doesn't run in the regular season like he runs come playoff time. If for some reason he's like, oh, y'all gonna play 2-man? Y'all gonna vacate this? Gone on him.
Yep.
Joe Burrow is phenomenal. He is, Skip. He really is. I like what I see. The guy, he does make great decisions with the football. He'll stand there and look down the gun barrel, take the shot right to the chops. They hit him up under the chin, he'll stand there. He knows when it comes with zero blitz, you're probably going to get knocked on your butt. But he'll stand there to the very last second and deliver an accurate football. There's no, man, if he'd have stood in there, if he'd have just gave him a better ball, Joe Burrow will do that every single time. But I'm not taking Joe Burrow over Patrick Mahomes. It's not close. What this kid can do with the arm, not close. What part about not close is it?
I'm writing this down.
Not close. Not close. Not close.
I hope Joe Burrow is watching as we speak, as you speak. Not close, says the Hall of Famer. Okay, Skip. Okay, since you love you say his numbers, Joe Burrow. Mahomes over his last 7 games, he completed 72% of his passes. Is that better than 70%? Sure. He 20 touchdowns with 2 picks, 352 yards total run play, and he's averaging 37 points a game. Now he just put up 447 and 4 touchdowns against across the board, the Buffalo Bills, number 1 in pass defense, yards per attempt, third down, and points allowed. He just did that. That's what he did to him. No further questions, Your Honor. I have one further question, Your Honor, for you, Your Honor. Patrick Mahomes, as I recall during the regular season, the Sultan, as you're now calling Mahomes boy, was so ordinary, so lost, so slump-ridden that Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe leaped off the bandwagon and gave up the Chiefs for dead and said, I'm out. I picked him before the season to win it all. I am no longer picking them to do anything. Right. Correct?
Most of that had nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. But I saw their defense. You saw their defense, too. You saw what their defense was giving up, Skip
I saw their defense hold my offense to 9 points.
That ain't saying nothing.
Dak Prescott. Rain Dakota Prescott.
Did you see your offense in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Okay, they got 17, right?
We had the ball 12 times against Kansas City at Arrowhead, and we scored 3 field goals. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so what we're dealing with here in The Athletic was a rating system whereby Joe Burrow was ranked slightly above Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Okay, got that. Yeah. I'm throwing the bigger picture at you because I kept telling you that at the end of the year, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., I'm trying to make the case for MVP because Pro Football Focus, your Bible, was making that case. And yet, as strong a case as they made for Brady over Aaron Rodgers, I look at QBR at the end of the year, or then I look at just overall grade, their grading system through 17 regular season games, and I say, wait a second. Joe Burrow is number one after 17 games of grading system by Pro Football Focus? Really? Number one, and Brady wound up number 2 to Joe Burrow. Then I'm reading these quotes. They're anonymous quotes from various coaches, evaluators, coordinators. And here's one from an offensive coach. I just think Joe Burrow has that little extra something. I've been telling you that now for 2 or 3 weeks. He's just so accurate. He sees things so well. In that regard, he's as close to Brady as anybody out there, including Mahomes or Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers or anybody you want to talk about.
But Skip, you do realize they said Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert. They didn't put Mahomes in that category. So what did I tell you?
Okay.
Ain't nobody there.
You realize that Joe Burrow is in his first full season of starting, and he led the Bengals to the division title and the playoffs. First time in 31 years that they won a playoff game. They actually won a playoff game.
I know a guy in his first full year of starting won the MVP and led a team to the AFC Championship game. He was Patrick Mahomes.
A team coached by Andy Reid.
Well, now you don't want to give my homeboy no credit.
I give him credit. No, he's very good. It's like you say, he's very good. But this guy is special. And then I read more quotes here. What Burrow is doing with that offensive line is impressive because who gets sacked 9 times in a playoff game at Tennessee and wins the game?
Yes, no.
Did you spit the bit one time?
Normally you break a man. You break the quarterback.
Did you happy feet at one time?
No.
Did you see loss of poise? Did you see loss of presence? No, he just stood tall and kept firing. And then longtime evaluator says his eyes are just so quick. He sees it like Brady, Peyton, Breeze in their primes did. It's almost like Joe Montana, says this evaluator, seeing it that quick and delivering it that accurately. That's Brady-esque. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady because there's only one. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, my homeboy doesn't pass that. My homeboy over that.
I'm talking about reading, deciphering, picking, and delivering on time and into the hands, into the number. There's nothing like the way this guy can operate an offense because we saw what he did to the Chiefs on January the 2nd. He goes 30 of 39. Are you kidding me?
He was special.
446, 4 touchdowns and no interceptions?
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Joe Burrow isn't special. I'm just saying I got to see more body of work before I start making the comparison between him and Patrick Mahomes. We've seen 4 years of this. In 4 years of starting, he's gotten to the AFC Championship game every year. He has an opportunity. So in 4 years of starting, he has an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl for a 3rd time.
Okay. What did you tell me after last year's Super Bowl? GOAT beat Mahomes again. You said it's the offensive line's fault.
Whoa.
You blamed it on the offensive line. They didn't protect him. He stunk in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. So why didn't Brady win? Why didn't Brady win Sunday? You blame the defense.
Tom Brady was spectacular Sunday.
You blame Tampa Bay's defense. You like what happened to the defense?
Well, on the last 2 plays, I did.
Why you so? No, hold on. So what you see? Look, you and I both know. They had 5 different offensive linemen. You think Joe Burrow would have a chance of winning this game if the entire offensive line was 5 new starters going to the AFC Championship game? Do you believe they have a chance?
Well, it was the equivalent of that at Tennessee because they couldn't block anybody.
Those are starters, though. No.
Okay, but they're sorry starters, and they have been all year. And he's risen above that in ways Mahomes could not rise above against Tampa in the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you a question. Here's the thing, Skip. Here's the thing. They're sorry starters. So what does that say about the backups? They're not starting, and that's what they trotting out there on the offensive line for Cincinnati. So how bad are the backups?
How badly did Mahomes get exposed when he didn't get protected?
Skip.
Yikes.
Tampa had an unbelievable season. And nobody thinks so. You think Tennessee was better than Tampa the last 8 games and leading into the playoffs, the last 4 games of the regular season and in the playoffs. You think Tennessee's defense on Saturday was better than Tampa's last year in the playoffs?
Sure. Tennessee's defense was really good, and I thought they were a done deal.
Hold on. What did they do to Aaron Rodgers? What did they do to Brett Favre? What did they do to Patrick Mahomes? So who did Tennessee do that to?
Tennessee's defense?
Yes.
All they did is get the number 1 seed. Tampa with Ryan Tannehill. That's how good they were.
Tampa beat the number 2 seed, The number 3 seed, the number 1 seed was Green Bay, went to their place and beat them. The number 2 seed, New Orleans, went to their place and beat them. The number 1 seed on the AFC side and beat them.
Better pass rush, this year's Tennessee or last year's Tampa Bay? I think it's Tennessee.
I don't know, Skip.
Well,
Hold on. You love Shaq Barrett. You love JPP.
I didn't love him this year.
No, we talking about last year. We talking about this year.
They got hot late, but they weren't very good much of the year because it went to the final game. Remember that they fell behind like woefully at Atlanta, remember? Yeah. And Brady had to bring them all the way back in the final game.
And you said he brought them to a boil. Skip, look, I'm not trying to be dismissive because I think, like I said, me personally, I would take Josh Allen slightly over Joe Burrow because of the legs, but I can see people taking Burrow over Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. But if you notice, they didn't even evaluate Mahomes. They refused to because they know it's not close.
But they were doing younger quarterbacks.
Skip, Joe Burrow is 1 year younger than Patrick Mahomes.
But he stayed the whole way, right?
Why? There's a reason why.
Well, is there?
There's a reason why he stayed.
Did he not put up a greater season that Patrick Mahomes put up at Texas Tech? Yes, he did.
Let me ask you a question. Give Patrick Mahomes Jamar Chase. Give him Justin Jefferson.
Are you kidding me? He's got the cheat.
No, I'm saying in college.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying in college.
Oh. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay, but.
So now he got weapons like everybody else had in the SEC.
Sure. I understand that. Let's just let this one play out.
Quickest way to
this weekend. I feel like we're gonna have.
How is he doing in Arizona?
He's doing really well.
He's doing just fine, Shannon.
Oh, he's doing well.
Just fine. No mercy. Despite coaching in his 4th consecutive AFC Championship game, Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy still hasn't landed a head coaching gig despite being a hot candidate for the past several years. Bieniemy interviewed for the Broncos job that eventually did go to Nathaniel Hackett, and so far none of the vacancies in this NFL coaching cycle have been filled by African-American coaches. And guys, we've been talking about him for the last couple of years now, so Shannon, what is going on?
Nothing. There's been a lot of symbols, a lot of symbols, and a lot of gestures. They got all these catchy slogans on the back of helmets, Skip, end racism and stop hate. And they got these hats now. They got diversity and equality and all that stuff. That don't mean anything. That's nice symbolism. Those are nice gestures. But at the end of the day, there's no substance. There's no teeth to what they're saying. And Skip, I don't really know what the NFL can do. I believe Commissioner Roger Goodell is doing everything he possibly can. But at the end of the day, you don't have minorities in position. There's only one. I mean, well, there's 2. Miss McCaskey, Virginia McCaskey, she owns the Bears. She's a female. You have Shad Khan down in Jacksonville. He owns the Jags. But other than that, Skip, you got white men. And white men, and what we've seen, have a propensity to hire other white men that look like them, that talk like them, or got referred to them that somebody that looked like them and talked like them. I've never heard a coach have to do what Andy Reid did for EB yesterday. He's been calling the plays. Kyle Shanahan never did that for Sean McVay. They never did that for Matt LaFleur. He never had to do that for Matt Nagy. When you look at the other guys that have gotten jobs and never called plays, the head coach never had to say he called the plays. But that's what Andy Reid is having to do for EB. And it still has gotten him nowhere. Because you know what? Everybody else with Tom Brady, nobody said it was Tom Brady. How many guys got jobs because of Tom Brady? Now, Eric Bieniemy, they said, well, that's all Patrick Mahomes. They said that's all Travis Kelce. That's all Tyreek. That's all Andy Reid. When other guys have had just comparable talent and got jobs, and nobody said it was because of the talent. I don't believe EB probably gonna miss out in this hiring cycle. Probably one guy, probably Brian Flores, is probably going to be the only African-American, Skip, that gets one of these head coaching jobs. And it's a shame, but what else can you do, Skip? How do you tell a man that's worth $5 billion, $8 billion, $12 billion who he or she can hire? It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You can't.
You can't legislate.
No, you can't. Even if you told them. I guarantee you, if you told Jerry Jones, you could have, if you get a black head coach, we'll put you in the Super Bowl. No, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Nope. They ain't not gonna do it. Ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I
would like to think under that circumstance.
Nope.
But, okay.
Because Skip, you're telling him what to do. And people that got that kind of power and that kind of money, Skip, they don't like being told what to do.
No.
They're not telling others.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate the circumstance we find ourselves in. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator and the play caller for a team that has been to 4 straight AFC championship games.
This many.
It has always been something of a head scratcher to me, the way your sport has worked, the sport I've covered for many, many years. But it's just the way of the world that coordinators get head coaching jobs. I've never quite understood why a coordinator qualified to be a head coach, because you could have no idea just because you're calling plays or strategizing in a defensive meeting and presiding over a smaller group of men that you can command the whole football team.
Correct.
It doesn't equal. It doesn't translate. And many, many, many times we see, let's start with white coordinators, fail miserably as head coaches because they're not CEO types. They're not commanders of men. Mm-hmm. But in this case, so many white coordinators have gotten jobs, and we just saw it again twice yesterday. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom. Mm-hmm. Nathaniel Hackett and Eberflus.
Oh, look.
Right?
Did Hackett call plays?
Did not call plays. He's called them before. He called them in Jacksonville, called them in Buffalo, but he did not call plays for the Green Bay Packers because the head coach called the plays. So this smacks of a situation I went through with a man that you know very well, a man who was white, and that was Dan Reeves. Mm-hmm. He was your
head coach, first head coach.
Mm-hmm. I got to know Dan very well when he was the offensive coordinator under Tom Landry. But Tom Landry called all the plays because he did it all. He ran the whole show. He ran the defense and the offense because he would cede no control.
Because he came from that side of the football.
He did. And it was so hard on Dan Reeves because he was the bridesmaid about 10 straight times for head coaching jobs where he came in second. And after about 4 or 5 seconds, the league starts saying, well, there's something wrong with him.
Correct.
That's what's happened to Eric Bieniemy. He's finished second or third or whatever he's finished. How many times? How many interviews has he gotten? He's probably just worn out from the interview process, right? He's probably, as we speak, saying, I got to go do another interview because it's humiliating.
Maybe you should take his name out the search.
Maybe.
Maybe you should pull a Dan Quinn and say, you know what, I'm going to stay right.
Okay.
And he'll never get a job.
Yeah.
If you do, you're not pulling what a Josh McDaniels did. Have the job, Skip, and resign via fax. Skip. Josh McCown is coaching high school football. He's gotten 2 interviews with the Houston Texans for their head coaching job.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh has been unbelievable. John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. Judge was a special teams coach.
Good point.
How many black special teams coaches you think will get an opportunity to interview for a head coaching job?
None. That's a big none. Big none.
That's all we're saying.
Yep.
Just level the playing fields. If you don't need and I'm saying DeMeco Ryans with DeMeco Ryans. Hell, Joe Staley, the head coach of the Chargers, 1 year of calling plays on the defense for the Rams, he got the head coaching job. But we need to see more from DeMeco Ryans. Oh, we do, huh? So now all of a sudden we need to see more. Other guys have gotten jobs that have not called plays on the offensive side of the football. Now EB, well damn. Andy came out yesterday. Eric Bieniemy calls all the plays. Yeah. When have a coach ever had to do that?
No.
And you better not mess up. You get one chance, David Culley.
Yeah.
You know and then the general manager gonna come out there and say he saved the sinking ship. Mm-hmm. So now he get the ship back to shore.
He did.
Now you throw him overboard.
He's gone.
Man, I tell you what.
Your man Vance Joseph deserves another shot. I thought he was really good at what he did.
Yes.
Brian Flores was really good in Miami. I know they didn't make the playoffs, but he is really good. If these men don't get second shots, it will be a crime.
Yeah.
And it will be a blight on this league that we love.
Skip, the reason why Coach Tomlin has lasted so long, he's had Big Ben.
Yep.
You get a guy like that, let a black coach get one of those guys. Let him get an Aaron Rodgers. Let him get a Patrick Mahomes. Let him get a Big Ben. And see how long he stays on the job. When you don't have those guys.
We'll let Jim Caldwell get Peyton Manning.
And he went to the Super Bowl.
He did.
And then he had 1 year, and then he went back again. They lost in the first round. Then Peyton has the neck injury. He goes 2-14. He's gone. So you go to the Super Bowl, you make the playoffs. You have one down year, you're up out of there. Mm-hmm. Look at what he did in Detroit. And they have, Matt Patricia. Ooh, Matt Patricia.
Coach
Ooh,
Pencil.
ooh. And now look at him.
Yeah, now look. I hear you, but they don't hear you.
Oh, and Dan Campbell. Look, how many black coaches you think gonna go 3-13, Skip, and get biting off kneecaps and?
He gives good post game.
Oh yeah. And I'm not saying that he don't deserve, but I'm just saying.
Yep.
You're not getting no opportunity. You're not gonna start one in whatever you started and win 2 of your last 4 games, and then talk about, oh yeah, he coming back. He's done a great job.
Yep.
It's frustrating considering I feel like we've been talking about this for years, and somehow we've taken steps backwards in a lot of ways. So I just don't know the answer right now. And we know Bieniemy is very qualified, and obviously he's proving that with the trips to the Super Bowl, guys.
No mercy.
Playing without LeBron, Anthony Davis scored 31 points and outplayed Joel Embiid. The performance gave LA fans a glimpse of hope on how good this team can be, with Frank Vogel saying the belief in our group is very strong. There's still a lot of ways that we have to improve, but seeing Anthony play that way reinforces our belief. So, Shannon, Russ still had 6 turnovers, and the Lakers did still lose. So were you encouraged or discouraged by what happened last night?
I was encouraged by what I saw with AD. And this is the type of AD that I know that I should see more often than I see.
You should.
He went to his mind because he know what Joel had been doing since Christmas. And he's like, that's not going to happen to me. I'm going to give him some of that back. 31, 12, 4 blocks, 2 steals. He just goes to show you just how skilled he is, Skip.
That's top 10 player.
Yes. So I was encouraged what I saw by him because I thought it would take a little longer for his offensive game to come back, considering he's been out for the amount of time. But blocking shots and rebounding, Skip, that should come back immediately. But, yeah, I know, because what happened was the same thing that's been happening when LeBron was there. One guy plays really well, and then for the most part, nobody else comes along with him. I don't know how you overcome 6 turnovers, and they were bad last night. I mean, they steal the ball. Russ has it, and he tries to throw it over the top, and the guy jumps up, takes it out there.
Wait, since you brought it up, let's just see the blooper reel. It's time for our daily turnover blooper reel. And I think we only have 5 of them because one happened off camera going the other direction. Here's the first one. Go ahead. Russ, what are you doing?
And he hurt his knee on this one.
He hurt his knee, and he stayed down. Think about it, Russ. Just think. No. You get yanked in high school basketball for that.
Look, that's it right there. Look, really? And look what we got.
Russ.
What's this? I mean, come on.
I mean, it's cartoonish.
This is a professional. This is not a high school. This is not a pop. This is not
worst hands of any point guard I have ever seen.
This is a professional NBA point guard.
Yet on the other side of this coin, I saw AD destroy Joel Embiid last night, in part because Joel did not take them seriously enough without LeBron. And if we could see the 2 blocks quickly that AD put on Joel, Okay, he just flat out went right up into his face and blocked his jump shot. You don't see this very often. And that one, that is big time.
Yeah.
He made him eat a spin move like a layup off the glass, made him eat it. That you can hang your hat on the rest of this year.
Yes.
Yeah, to your point, Russ actually made 9 of 15 shots for 20 points, and he made 9. He scored 9 in the fourth quarter when the game was completely out of hand. But what you live and die by the 3, because if Malik Monk's going to go 1 of 6 and Carmelo's going to go 1 of 4, and Wayne Ellington's going to come back and go 1 of 4, you got no shot.
Right.
So you trailed by 22 and you lost by 18, despite that performance from Anthony Davis.
Right, and that's the difference, Skip. They were 13 of 35, you were 6 of 29.
Okay,
so that's the difference. That's the difference in the game right there. You got that score by 21.
There is a little bit of hope off this game.
Little bit of hope.
The big dog back tonight.
No mercy.
For tonight's game against Michael Jordan's Hornets squad is uncertain after the superstar missed last night's game with a sore knee. So, Shannon, if LeBron does play, what's his line, and do the Lakers win this one?
I mean, if I had the courage, I would say like 40, 10, and 6, but I ain't got that kind of courage. I'm going to say 30, 7, and 7, and they're going to beat these young guns. They're going to get out run. I mean, they're probably going to be like 128 to 132, 132, 136. Yeah. Yeah.
I will give you that I think tonight LeBron once again goes to Westbrook in this game. He goes stat machine. He goes 30-point triple-double. I'll give him 35, 13, and 10.
Okay.
And I also think the Lakers will lose at Charlotte.
Not when you lose.
So I'll take a case on that.
Okay.
I got Charlotte, but I need the 49ers +3.
No, Skip.
Okay.
Look.
Will you give me Joe Burrow +7.5?
No.
Somebody's got no courage of conviction.
Hold on. It's not an accident. It's not an accident that the Bengals are here. It's not an accident the 49ers are here. So, no, they've earned the right to be here.
But you love Odell's Rams. They're Hollywood. They got it rolling. They are front running.
Yep, I'm going to be at the Super Bowl.
Are you?
Yep.
Okay. So you'll give me, what, 2.5 maybe?
No. As a matter of fact, I'll be at the Super Bowl either way. I mean, if Mike makes it, I'm going to cheer on Mike. If Odell them makes it, I'm going to go cheer on Odell. So I'm going to be at there either way.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So I've got 49ers plus,
I'll tell you what I do.
2.5?
No, I tell you what. Hold up. The Lakers favorite tonight? Who's favorite tonight?
I don't know.
I'll give you the Lakers. Give me the Lakers. Give me the Lakers in 5.
5?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I think Charlotte's favorite. I think Charlotte's favorite.
Well, I don't care.
Whoa,
you said they're going to beat these young guns. Somebody's got no guts.
You want me to give you points in Joe Burrow, and you just said he's right there with Patrick Mahomes.
7.5. He's got no blockers. He's got no line.
Give me 4 points, and I give me 4.
Stop it. No, I'm not going to give you any.
Hold on.
I got Charlotte straight up.
And you just called 49ers and say they're the Lions. They're the Lions, and the Rams are like Panthers or Leopards.
Yep, they are.
Okay, well, give me points then. Give me 3.
Give you points? They're favored by 3.5.
Guys, we're running out of time here. Fine. Let's just see how these games play out this week. I cannot wait for Monday. We'll see you guys then. The Herd is on now.